What's up, fellas? I just wanted to stop and tell you a quick story. There was a little boy that was asked to write about his life story, and the teacher, once she received this paper, called him back up to her desk and said, "Can you tell me why did you write the beginning part of the paper with a pen, but yet wrote the rest of the story with a pencil?" The little boy shrugged his shoulders and said, "Well, I just knew that there would be parts of my story that I would have to erase and write over again." I think there's a simple wisdom in that young man's response. And I think that we all need to take note of the fact that our lives, just like his paper, will need revision at some point. Fellas, let me ask you something. Have you ever needed to send a message to that girl, or maybe your wife, or an email to like a boss or somebody just important? But my point is, the message had to be right. Like it had to be just right. But yet you looked at it and you said, nah, that's not it. That's not it. Let me backspace, delete, and rewrite it because it has to be right. You know, that's just the way that our lives are. But it's funny that we have the strength and the wherewithal to delete a text message and rewrite it, or an email and rewrite it. But yet we won't analyze our lives and say, you know what, that needs to be deleted. That needs to be rewritten or rewrite it. You get it? Like there are some things that we need to write in our lives. And I believe that that's every man that needs to have some things in his life to be changed. Because whether it is that you feel like that you can be more healthy, that you can make more money, whether you can spend more time with your family, there's something that we can figure out about our lives that needs to be reworked, so to speak. And let me let you understand something. When you decide to do that work, there is nobody that's exempt. There is not a soul on this earth that is living a life that does not need revision. You don't want to be this guy that I heard about 3 weeks ago. He kept on shunning his daughter. He kept saying, "Oh, baby, not today, not today. I got work to do. I'll talk to you later, or we can play later. We can have the tea and the crimpets later. We can play the dress up later." You know, everything was later. And so the little girl came up to him one day and said, "Dad, can I just ask you something?" And she said, as he was still typing the email, he said, "Go ahead, baby. What is it? What do you need?" She said, "Can you tell me how much money you make an hour?" He said, "It's about $27." So the little girl ran off to her room, bust her piggy bank open, came back, and handed him money. And she said, "I'm only $4 short of buying an hour for your time." She ran back off into her room, and the father was sitting there stuck with the realization that he had become such a provider that he had stopped providing the very thing that was most important, which was time to his daughter. So he, at that moment, realized that there was a part of his life that needed revision. You know, sitting here in this barbershop all day long, I cut so many different men. And I can tell you a real story of a guy that was 375 pounds. And then one day he just thought to himself, this isn't the life that I'm supposed to be living. He decided to make one change, and that was to just eat just a little bit better. And once he started eating just a little bit better, then he started walking, and then he started exercising regularly. And now he's 167 pounds, and he looks amazing. So I just want you to know, and I want you to be encouraged, that nobody is beyond changing, and no one is unable to change. You are not too old. You are not too young. You haven't done anything that exempts you or disqualifies you from changing. Everybody can change. And everybody has to know this one thing. As long as you still have breath in your body, you still have a pen. So I'm just asking you all to lift up your pens, because no one writes a perfect script the first time. Everybody's story needs revision. And I'm just asking that you will recognize the fact that you have the power to rewrite your story. All right? Peace.